ARASHI, Prince of the Sky. Chapter 4. Freed.
My name is Nanabe, and this is my little brother Shimari. We came from Montreal to help with the spirits of the sky and save my grandfather. Was the shaman called Salem.
Nanabe kept her hands on her brother's shoulders as he trembled nervously.
It's very nice to meet you, sweetheart. My name is Bermatrice. You can call me Burmy. This is Bishop, and this is my daughter, Ishara.
And this is Ari. Thanks for coming all this way. I didn't know if I'd get the chance to meet you so soon, but I guess it makes sense now. I knew your grandfather. He would speak in the spirit realm often. We are lucky to have someone as wise as him.
Nanabe winced at the mention of her grandfather, knowing he was no longer around.
He is a very special man. He and the other elders went up against fear in the spirit realm. I don't know what happened to him.
Without a second thought, Ishara handed her bowl to Burmy and met Nanabe and Shimari with a hug. Both siblings were shocked at first of her sudden contact, but instantly felt the effects of her calming touch. The cool of her aura and peaceful flow of love ran through them like rivers to their bodies. She released them and looked them deep in the eyes.
Your grandfather was a very brave man. He knew this day would come and that we would meet here in this very spot. Look.
Ishara pointed up towards the sky, and right above them were 5 streaks of clouds like arrows, all meeting at one point in the sky, like a wheel with a circle in the middle. Ishara took Ari's bowl from her mother and led the small group towards the falls. She turned and spoke to them all directly.
This was all meant to be, but now we face the real danger, fear itself. Everything is connected. The earth, the moon, the stars, the sky and the sea, the wind and the rain, each delicate and powerful. It's the balance that creates life on earth. Each element is a god spirit, and so as spirits, they each share different characteristics. But in particular, the sky is one of the most complex. The sky is our atmosphere, shifting constantly like the waves in the sea, while holding and releasing massive amounts of energy, and so vast. That is why it is where the spirits go to replenish, cleanse, and descend back to earth. When a spirit's time on earth is finished, their body returns to earth, while the spirit returns to the sky realm, to rest and be with the light. And when it's time for them to return to earth once more, it rains. The rain has stopped, the cycle has been breached, and spirits are trapped in the sky, but there is a way to fix it. Similar to the symbol of yin and yang, we cannot live without fear, and fear cannot live without us. Fear is intent on destroying the world, even if it means destroying itself.
Well, dang.
Dang is right, kid. So, where do you play in all this, Lo Che?
Yeah, hun, you've been real quiet about who you are, or rather, what you are, and I have to be honest, it's making me really, really nervous.
Burmy said, putting her hands to her head to wipe the sweat from her brow. Ishara took a short pause.
In this body lives the rain. The moon is the queen, and the sun is the king. We elementals are their children. I am the princess of the sky, and my other half is the prince. The balance of masculine and feminine, the light and the dark, the hard and the soft. This body keeps me on earth, but if I die while the ruination is happening, my spirit will be trapped in the sky with the rest of the spirits. If that happens, the world will never see the rain again. Tonight there will be an eclipse of the moon, and the veil of the spirit realm will be visible for all to see. A gateway will appear that I will have to pass through. It will free the phoenix from this body to once again call the rain and right the earth. The spirit of fear does not want that to happen. He is using his powers now to create more and more fear unto humanity, fueling his power, hence the meteors. Humans think it's the end of the world as we know it, but it doesn't have to end this way, and it won't.
So what you're saying is that once you walk through that gate...
Burmy spoke, but her words were choked off. She felt a lump start to build in her throat. She didn't want to hear what she thought she was hearing. Was her little girl gonna sacrifice herself tonight? She felt the ground spin underneath her feet, and Bishop caught her shoulder.
Hey, kids, let's give them a moment, okay? Come on, let's find some water.
Bishop motioned them to move away. Nanabe and Shimari followed behind him towards a vending machine on the other side of the park. Once they were gone, Ishara turned back to her mother.
You've known this for a long time, haven't you?
Yes, Mommy, I'm sorry. I wanted to tell you, but it wouldn't have meant...
Don't you dare mother me! I'm the mother here, remember?
Burmy said sharply. She was struggling to control her breathing as dread threatened to turn her inside out. She turned and grabbed Ishara by the shoulders.
Tell me there's another way. Tell me there's more options. Tell me I'm dreaming. Just don't leave me, Ishara. You're all I have in this stupid world.
Burmy's tears fell freely. She didn't know what she would do without Ishara. It was always them against the world.
Mommy, fear doesn't want us to win. If I told you before you were ready to hear it, fear would have entered your body and anguish would have turned your spirit. We have to keep our courage in front of us, always. We have to remain free and brave. When we are free, we don't need to hold on, Mommy. We let go. You have to let go.
She said softly. Ishara was finding it difficult to reach her. Sorrow threatened to fill her heart. Burmy just closed her eyes and hugged her daughter tightly.
Damn it. You're a timeless ancient god sent to me by the moon. Why me?
The moon spirit chose you because of your spirit. You are the bearer of light. You're the only reason why I'm here. Without you, the world would be lost for sure.
Burmy continued to cry into her hair, trying to extend the moment for as long as she could. But the question remained, what was she going to do without her? Live. You keep living. The voice deep inside of her said. She took a deep breath and opened her eyes. She stared into Ishara's eyes she's known for so long.
Energy never dies. I'll always be with you.
Ishara wiped the tears from her mother's face. Burmy chuckled to herself. She always seemed to laugh when she cried, a subtle relief from all the tension she was feeling.
Yeah, that's good to know. Oh my God!
Burmy's eyes widened and her heart skipped 5 beats at the sight of another giant meteor hurtling their way.
Run!
Honey, let's go!
They ran as fast as they could until a giant ball of fire sailed past them and made impact into the falls. They made it to Bishop's truck as the ground quaked and water exploded from the river. The water went so high up, it blocked out the sun for a moment. Then it all came crashing down on top of them like a downpour. Everything within a 50-yard radius of the blast got a major power wash of seawater. Well, it's raining now. Problem solved.
Not funny, Shy.
Nanabe was straining the water from her ponytail as they carefully made their way back to the river, searching the skies for any other surprises. They weren't sure what they were going to find, but when they got there, they definitely couldn't believe what they were looking at.
Now this I will never forget.
Bishop was in awe. The area where the meteor landed was now a giant whirlpool, shrouded in a layer of steamy fog, at least a football field wide. But that wasn't all.
Oh no, it's early.
Ishara said, pointing to something out of the thick air. They could see sparking and flickering to life over the whirlpool. She grabbed the fishbowl and set it on the ground. The clouds were shifting in the air at an alarming rate, and the wind was picking up. Electricity was in the air, and the smell of brimstone and coal filled their senses. The gate rose to the size of a small barn. In the center was a hole of dark matter. Surrounding it was a prism of multicolored lights, and electricity danced in and around it.
Oh, please, not here too.
Nanabe was clutching her wrist as her sixth sense was telling her exactly what was coming. The gateways continued to materialize. Streaks of dark matter came flying out of the space like bats out of a cave. One after another, they came flying out of the gateway. Having no direction in flight, the creatures were swirling around the gate until suddenly, the shadow creatures all burst into flames and came flying in their direction.
Hit the floor!
The flaming shadows exploded and hurled over their heads, past the parking lot and into the wooded area about a half a mile down, burying themselves into the dirt.
What the? Hey, look over there.
They all turned to look and saw it. Fear itself. The giant shadow god emerged from the fiery gate. This time, it was shaped like a person, a really big person, with antlers riding on its head. Meanwhile, the shadow creatures were popping out of the ground like it was a zombie apocalypse, emerging from the trees, headed their way. Guys, zombies! What are we gonna do? We don't have any weapons, no shovels, or swords, or guns. We're dead! We're freaking dead!
Hey, shut up and get a grip!
Nanabe wheeled around and smacked her brother, but she too was scared. They were literally stuck between the devil himself and his evil shadow army that looked ready to tear them apart. Bishop stepped up and faced the horde that was steadily closing in on them.
All right, crew. Here's the plan. We are not gonna die. Not today.
Bishop opened up his giant trench coat to reveal a mini arsenal of weapons.
Whoa! Can I get one? Ow!
Shamari had reached for his coat, and Bishop had to slap his hand away.
Little boy, you crazy, ain't you? All right, listen up. You and your brother had done them steps to get to the docks and get that boat ready to take us to the gate.
Bishop said, removing his coat now and pulling out his shotgun from behind him.
Take this, Cher.
He handed Burmy his revolver and some extra bullets.
Wait, Bishop, what's going on here? We haven't talked about a plan yet. How are we gonna get past freaking death down there to get to the gate? And what are you gonna do? Take on those creatures on your own? Huh?
Listen to me. I know we just met, and we don't know each other from a sock on the wall, but I want you to know that I see you. And I'd like to keep seeing you by the grace of the moon and the stars. I'm gonna make sure we get through this, so I can keep seeing you for a long time. Capiche?
Sock in the wall. Wait, did he just ask me out?
Burmy was completely flustered, but she couldn't hide the blush running across her face. Ishara felt the pause being a bit delayed and decided to grab her mother's hand and start making their way down to the dock.
Yes, she understands, Bishop. You will see her soon. Come on, Mommy. Bishop.
I believe in you, Cher.
Bishop called out with a wink. Then he turned and made his way towards the angry mob of shadow creatures. He wasn't afraid to die. To him, it was like he'd come this close to death several times already. But what is life anyway but to die a million times, to be reborn better and better each time? It's all or nothing. A lesson he learned a very long time ago. Burmy glanced back at Bishop as he let out his battle cry and sprinted towards his enemies.
You better stay alive.
They reached the steps and hurried down. Fear was still hovering there beyond the gate like a statue, keeping guard as to not let anything pass its way. Ishara and Burmy reached the dock where they stayed hidden behind the customer service office.
What are we gonna do? That thing's looking right at us.
Shamari was hugging his legs to his chest, rocking nervously.
The eclipse has to happen first. Look, he doesn't have his powers just yet, which is good. That means he's still under the veil of the moon until the eclipse begins. Then we will have our secret weapon to help us.
Oh my god, is that your secret weapon? A fish? Oh my god, we're all gonna die!
Oh, Shamari, you're funny. Yes, this guy right here is our secret weapon. Just wait a little longer.
Well, I hope he can do more than just blow bubbles.
Shy!
What? It's true!
Shut up!
Danabe said, slapping the back of his head. Then they heard the sound of gunfire. They all looked up toward the top of the steps.
Oh, shoot, my nerves. How much longer, Roz?
It's time.
Ishara took a step out and set the fishbowl down. She sat cross-legged in front of it and held out her hands. The bowl glowed bright blue light until it was blinding to look at. The energy around them swirled and sparked with electricity. Burmy looked on in awe of her daughter. She'd been hiding the secret for so long. How could she have known? The energy continued to swirl and pulse until the light exploded into the sky like a beacon, straight to the moon. Then the light disappeared, and Ari was no longer in his tank.
Whoa! What happened? Where'd he go?
Whoa, honey, you're glowing.
Ishara was glowing. There was a purple light that seemed to form around her and pulsed with energy. She could feel the heat coming off of her like a candle. Ishara turned to them and smiled.
The veil is down. Brace yourself.
Suddenly, there was an explosion of electricity in the clouds, and the sound of thunder so great it nearly knocked them off their feet. From the clouds, they could see it. One single bright light came rocketing down from the heavens. It was moving so fast, they didn't know what it was at first. Burmy felt a great shiver run through her, and a flashback of the dream she had the night before.
The boy from my dream. Arashi.
The light rocketed toward them and slowed to a stop. It hovered there in front of them for a moment, like a phantom flame. Then the light popped like a balloon, and there he was, the boy from her dream, exactly the way she remembered him. He sat upon a cloud, still glowing with the blue light surrounding his body, caramel skin that was almost translucent, like he was just a reflection of the universe and the stars and the galaxies. His hair was a wild bunch of curls that seemed to spark and flicker with electricity. He wore a liquid dark blue kimono that seemed to flow like water, similar to that of the shaman elders in the spirit world. The most striking thing was his eyes. Like fireworks, they seemed to sparkle with energy and power. Burmy couldn't take her eyes off of him. Ishara walked up to him and held out her hands. Like a mirror image, he did the same, and their energy radiated.
Good to see you, brother.
Good to see you too, Ishara. And it's great to be out of that crap bowl. Arashi said, grinning. Then he looked to Burmy and smiled. His eyes seemed to light up even brighter. Hi. He waved at her. Burmy was in shock. All she could do was smile. His spirit was so familiar to her, like she'd been raising him alongside Ishara these past 12 years. She opened her mouth to speak, but the sound of gunshots echoing in the air silenced her.
Help him! Please!
Arashi nodded his head nonchalantly and took off like a blur towards Bishop, who was surrounded by the shadow creatures. Dozens of them were slain on the ground, but he was still outnumbered, 20-1.
Come on, you ugly bugs! Old Bishop got some more for you.
He breathed through haggard breaths. He was tired. He hadn't seen this much action since his military days. Nothing like a good old warrior's brawl to light his spirit on fire. He reached his pack for a reload, but he was all out.
Damn it.
One of the creatures came lurching at him as he swung his shotgun around and knocked the creature back. It wailed and screeched like a banshee, but got up on its feet instantly. It resembled a combination of a wolf on its hind legs and a kangaroo, just a lot less fun to look at. They circled him, waiting for him to drop his guard. Bishop dropped his shotgun and whipped out his dual butcher knives, ready for the next strike. They were at a standoff. Then, a great gust of wind stirred around him. It picked up speed until it was evident that he was in the center of a mini cyclone.
What the heck is... Oh.
Bishop looked up, and above him, he noticed a cloud directly above his head. The cyclone picked up speed until it completely captured all the shadow creatures in its turn. They spun around and around, rising higher into the air until it just stopped. And then, for a split second, the creatures hung helplessly in the air until the cloud exploded with electricity and incinerated all of them at once. They screeched and howled until there was nothing more but stardust. Arashi drifted down in front of Bishop to reveal who he was.
Oh, hello, hi.
You're welcome, old man. Oh, gotta go! Arashi shot back into the sky like a shooting star.
Oh, yeah, thank you. Thanks. Wait a second. Oh, man.
Bishop said, looking at the boy fly away towards the sky, but his eyes caught whatever he was looking at and had to catch his breath.
Oh, my great googly muggly. Now that is what you call a great ball of fire.
Bishop saw a meteor the size of a mountain hurtling down from the heavens. It was so big, he could feel the heat from where he was standing. And back down on the dock, Burmy saw it too and was speechless. Well, not really.
This ruining is crazy.
Look, it's gone.
Nanabe was pointing towards the gate. Fear had vanished.
Now's our chance. Let's get to the boat.
Oh my god. Yeah, we're all gonna die.
Don't worry, Mommy. He got it.
Ishara was pointing to the sky as Arashi zoomed towards the meteor at top speed on its cloud. He stood up, and just before impact, he leaped off of it. He remained suspended in the air as it continued sailing towards the meteor. The cloud kept growing as it got closer until it was just as big as the meteor, and then they collided. The cloud covered the meteor completely, transforming it into a giant block of ice. Arashi, still floating in the air, raised his hands over his head as lightning surged from his fingertips, and the sky lit up like the 4th of July as a streak of powerful lightning struck the ball of ice. It hit and exploded into a million shards of ice, falling like shimmering snow.
Holy crap! That was awesome!
Shy, watch your mouth, please.
Nanabe, acting as a big sister, was untying the boat from the dock.
It's not over yet.
Ishara said, as a giant shadow appeared from behind the clouds. It was fear. Like the stuff of nightmares, it was a flame of shadows, shrouded in dark energy. Its form had morphed into a giant stag, 4 legs and horns. Its menacing look was quite intimidating. It let out a terrible cry, like nothing they'd heard before, and charged for the boat.
Oh god, oh god, oh god! Here it comes! Hit the motor!
I can't get it to start.
Here I come. Wait for me.
Bishop finally made it to the dock. He hopped on the boat, and in one pull, the motor roared to life.
Oh, thank god! Thank god!
Yeah, cool, come on, let's move this thing!
Shamar yelled. Meanwhile, Arashi had jumped onto Fear's back and was riding it like a wild bull. It kicked and streaked and erupted into dark flames. Arashi screamed as he felt the heat of evil fire. But in the same moment, he raised his hands and let out a fierce battle cry, calling for the lightning. It surged from the sky and erupted into the giant beast, holding them in place. Then, they vanished into a plume of smoke.
Wait, what happened? Where did they go?
They all looked up, searching the skies for any signs of either of them.
Brace yourselves!
Ishara said, just as a ball of dark matter came rocketing from the sky and nearly hit the boat and sent water splashing about. Bishop steered as best as he could to avoid the collision. From above, they could see dark figures darting across the sky like shooting stars. Arashi was firing his lightning bolts and Fear was doing the same. They were witnessing the battle of two gods.
Shimari, stay close.
Nanabe hugged her brother closer, but all he could do was look up in awe at what he was witnessing and wondered if his powers would ever come close to that. He looked to Ishara, sitting at the head of the boat with Burmy. Her head was held high. She never let any worry she might have been feeling come to the surface. "Hey, Ishara, what makes you so brave?" he asked her over the roar of the motor. She turned to him and answered simply.
I only do what I feel I have to do, but I am not without fear. It lives in all of us. That we can't deny. However, I know that the real fear is up there.
She pointed to the spirit of fear and the prince of the sky.
You have to have courage in the face of fear, Shimari. Fear holds on. Fear likes to control. Fear is the absence of air and freedom to be. We take our freedom for granted. Never fear who you are or who you are meant to be. Embrace every part of yourself.
Shimari nodded and cuddled up closer to her sister. Burmy looked longingly at her daughter. She put her arm around her and held her tight.
Here we are, Cher. Ain't no getting closer to that thing without being sucked into hell. Are you ready?
Burmy took a sharp breath in. Her mind was being berated with joyful memories of her life as a mother. Ishara's first words, her first birthday, the first time she heard her laugh. Her emotions were threatening to take over. So, Ishara turned around to face her mother. She held both her hands in hers and squeezed them tightly, closed her eyes as one single tear escaped.
You're the best mother anyone could have ever asked for. I'm happy the moon chose you. I love you.
Ishara released her hands and held her tight around the waist. Burmy wasn't able to hold herself together any longer as tears began to fall. Her heart felt like it was already broken. She found it hard to breathe until the light around Ishara enveloped both of them. Then she felt an overwhelming feeling of gratitude. It was beautiful. She felt a swell of pride and understanding of her role as a mother. The memories she has will forever give her strength that she did all she could do to help basically save the world.
I'm so proud of you. You better come see me, okay? You hear me, girl?
Ishara's light burned a little brighter as she smiled a sad smile.
I'll always be with you. You all take care of each other. You are family now.
See you around, Lil Cher.
Bishop said with his hands to his heart. Ishara stood up to the edge of the boat, then, like a feather, floated along the surface of the water. Look! As Ishara floated, there were beautiful creatures of light dancing around her. With the veil of the moon down, they could see the spirits freely. They spun and danced around Ishara's light, but as she got closer to the gate, another meteor was closing in on them, bound for impact, right in front of them.
Bishop, turn us around!
Ishara was nearly to the gate as the meteor made impact, sending a wall of water hurtling towards them at great speed. Ishara reached the gate seconds before the tidal wave. Inside, her body exploded into a blinding light. The burning gate erupted into a blue flame and sent a great pulse of energy outward in every direction. From the flames of light emerged the fiery blue wings of the phoenix. Her wings were the color of the sky at sunset. The most beautiful thing Burmy had ever seen. Her daughter was a great and powerful beast of legend. She was in awe of Ishara as she flapped her gigantic wings into the air. A blast of energy, like a shockwave, sent the boat flying through the air, while simultaneously turning all the water to ice. Everything froze instantly. The boat skidded to a stop on the frozen ice as Burmy and the others laid sprawled out over the fresh snow in the middle of Niagara Falls as the phoenix climbed higher to the sky.
All right, team, come on, get up.
We gotta go! Bishop helped everyone get to their feet, as Burmy kept her eyes to the sky, watching Ishara fly. Meanwhile, Arashi and the Spirit of Fear were at a standoff, summoning mighty tornadoes that collided in the air, erupting into fierce electricity. When Arashi noticed the phoenix approaching, he let his guard down for only a moment, but Fear was too quick. In the blink of an eye, the creature transformed into a smaller human shadow form and shrouded everything into darkness, like turning off the lights at night. It was pitch black for only a few moments, but enough time for Fear to have materialized a black dagger from its hands. Before he knew it, Fear was right in front of him and plunged the dagger into Arashi's throat before he could blink an eye. The blade went in only an inch under Arashi's Adam's apple. Arashi caught the blade before it got any deeper, but he could feel the dark energy of the blade taking its effect on him, draining his energy. Fear hissed into his ear as the blood ran down his blade.
Though you may be born again, young prince, the only sound you will ever make will be the roar of thunder and the howling of the wind. Your rage will be silenced forever.
Bastard! Flames erupted from the blade, cutting off his words. Arashi called forth the lightning and struck Fear down. It went hurtling towards the ground and regained control just before it was about to hit. Arashi grabbed his neck as the gash disappeared under his fingertips. Arashi looked back towards Ishara. She needed him to complete the release, so he closed his eyes and found the glow within. The wind around him started to spin and cyclone until he erupted into light. The tornado became solid, and the light revealed his silver scales that sparkled under the light. He completed his transformation into his true form, the mighty dragon of the sky, the bringer of life. He let out a mighty roar that echoed throughout the sky like thunder. The sound could be heard miles away. Then, together, both Phoenix and the dragon circled the sky. Storm clouds started to form, and the air began to cool. They made their way back to the docks and watched as the great beasts worked their magic, setting the world back into balance. It poured rain as the fiery gate slowly disappeared, but not the spirit creatures with it. The eclipse was ending, and the veil was broken forever. But for now, the earth was cleansed of its fears. Bishop entered the gift shop to look for the radio. He turned to a frequency and listened for the broadcast. Burmy stood behind him listening.
It's raining, folks! It's finally raining! We're getting reports of flash showers all over the world! It's raining! Yes, thank you, Jesus!
The broadcaster was hysterical with joy. They could almost feel the whole world sigh with relief. Burmy still looked to the sky. The beast disappeared beyond the clouds, but she could still see their blue light far off in the distance. Her heart smiled.
Wait, what happened to Fear?
Well, it's dead, isn't it?
No, you heard what she said. Fear can never die, but I think we are safe for now. The rain has cleansed the earth of fear, if only for a little while.
Well, next time he comes, we'll be ready for him, right, Nana?
I hope so, Shay. I really do.
Burmy was looking out over the falls as the ice was melting.
Well, what now, Cher?
Burmy turned around and smiled towards the blue lights.
Now, we begin again.
End of chapter 4.